Hi and welcome, Martina here. On today's card, I will be using the Wow Dark Brown Flock, which is absolutely not my favorite color, but I think it will look absolutely amazing as handle of the brushes I will create today. To start, I am getting some interest and texture onto the background of my card. And for that, I'm using the Altenew A Splash of Color clear stamp set, which is actually pretty old and not used. But I think today's card is just a perfect opportunity to take these stamps. I am simply taking these bladder stamps, putting them into the embossing ink, pouring the clear matte dull embossing powder over it, and heat set the powder. I think the clear matte dull embossing powder is just an amazing powder to add some interest and texture to your background, but your background won't scream for any attention. And that's a nice thing when you are adding something bright and bold, as I will be doing today. Now to the focal points. I have this three amazing paintbrush dies. These are Alexandra Renke dies. And I love the fact that they have the base of the whole thing. Then they have a die for the bristles, a die for the, let's say, the tip of the bristles, where you can imagine that it's, well, dipped into the paint. And then they have a single die for the metal band, which keeps the bristles and the brush together. So you're really able to get really, really creative with your brushes. And that's what we'll be doing now. I have die cut the paintbrush bases and these small metal pieces out from cardstock, which I have covered with double-sided adhesive tape. I absolutely love to use the Elizabeth Crafts double-sided adhesive. It's the easiest and best to use to me. And for the metal pieces, I'm just pulling the protecting sheet away from these die cuts and pouring the brilliant silver sparkles over it, pressing it a bit into the glue, and I'm already done. And I don't have to mention that the shine and sparkle of the brilliant silver is just amazing. And now to the bristles. I have three color combos which are quite monochromatic-ish in the bristles. So I have primary Bluetiful with Splash. I have something borrowed with primary blue Tang, and I have opaque Pastel Yellow and Lemon Sorbet. I am dipping all these die cuts into my embossing ink pad, pouring the embossing powder over them, and heat set each and every piece on its own. Like this, I won't get any mess with my colors because there are many different pots on my desk at the moment. I am using the plain color on the long bristle die cut and the sparkly textured special embossing powders on that part of the bristles, which create the imagination that you just put your paintbrush into the wet paint and you could be ready to paint away. When all the colorful parts of the paintbrushes have their color, I could start the real fun. And I think it's a great idea to cut the whole paintbrushes from these double-sided adhesive taped cardstock, because now, as you see me doing right now, I am able to just glue the long part of the bristles to the base of the paintbrush, which makes working so easy and so fast. And now it's time to flock. I have put my coffee filter under the paintbrushes to protect my working surface, and I simply poured the flock particles over my brushes or the handles of the brushes. And it's easy as it seems to be. You simply press these small particles into the glue, and the particles stick where you have glue, and they won't stick where you don't have glue. So you see me using a brush just to brush away the excess powder from the bristle parts of the paintbrushes, and it's quite quick and easy. And when I'm done, I simply pour the leftovers back, tap my coffee filter quickly off, and it's still reusable for other projects. And now I'm already at the point where I can put my brushes together. I am gluing the tips to the brushes and these metal pieces. And to glue everything down, I am using the Stamperia Colla Extra Forte. And that's the, in my experience, best way to glue embossed pieces onto embossed pieces, because I usually had a hard time to make them stick. And I really tried to pull these paintbrushes apart, and I wasn't able without ripping the paper, so it does its job really well. You see me putting the embossing powder pods onto the freshly glued pieces. That's just to help me to press them a little bit more down. I absolutely love these brushes, and I love how they turned out, because it's optical and haptical, an amazing thing, because the handles of the brushes are nice and fluffy and soft from the flock, and then you have that sparkly metal band piece, and then you have the colored bristle and the amazing sparkly tips of the paintbrushes, which really give the impression as you could be drawing away. After that, it's just deciding how the brushes go onto the card, gluing down some sequins, gluing down my sentiment, and that's it for this card and today. I really hope you feel inspired and encouraged to get creative by yourself. And maybe you also have some ideas for some projects using the Wow Flocks. I hope we see us again soon. Have an amazing day. Bye.